think that's for lunch.
Mu Cang Chai during harvest season is more than just a travel destination. It's a pilgrimage. Picture this, terraced rice fields that hug the curves of mountains like a golden quilt. This is the Vietnam I moved across the world to live in.
And it is pretty up here, man. Really pretty.
Nowhere else I have been encapsulates the essence of rice harvest season quite like Mu Cang Chai. Imagine entire valleys set ablaze by the golden hue of ripe rice, harvested by hand by local Hmong communities. But don't be fooled, I'm not just here for the views. I'm here for something far more fleeting, the annual Hmong tradition of grasshopper hunting. But first, we had to get there. Navigating these serpentine roads requires more than just courage. It demands local expertise. I've biked all over Vietnam, but these trails, not for the faint of heart.
Oh, Ivan! So apparently I'm too fat for the motorbike to get me up this hill. It was pretty steep, but I gotta lose some weight, man. That was crazy.
Steep, muddy climbs, hairpin turns, and near zero visibility on who's about to descend on you. It's an exhilarating 30-minute ride to the hunting ground.
But it's stinking hot at the bottom of the mountain, and up here it is pretty cold. This is definitely one of the most picturesque spots in Vietnam I have ever been in. Just huge hillsides, completely terraced out, but pretty much as far as you can see. Buffaloes walking around, Hmong people in traditional dress. It's really, really quite a pretty spot.
Here I rendezvous with Pao and his two young proteges. These guys are masters of the grasshopper hunting game.
So it's kind of terrifying walking along these rice field paths. These guys are never going to fall. But I realized years ago that I do not have the skill set to navigate muddy rice field walls.
Armed with bundles of straw, we walk along the rice fields and swat at the grass walls. The moment you see movement, you're in business. And from gargantuan winged creatures to minuscule green ones, this place is a grasshopper haven. Even one-handed, camera in tow, I add to our growing collection.
It's pretty easy, I'm kind of picking it up again. I think just about every kid around the earth has collected these guys at some point. It's kind of fun. I like it. I've never eaten them.
The kids store the grasshopper by impaling them on a wild grass stem. But the bottle Pao is using seems much easier to me. But what do I know? Hunting these things is a balancing act on narrow rice terraces. Sidestepping buffalo, it's almost surreal. An alpine summer in the heart of Vietnam, complete with the tinkering of cowbells. And the shocking part to me is this place is woefully undervisited by Western tourists.
I have not really seen any other Western people here, and it's kind of a shame. It's also a good thing though, I think, that there are these corners of Vietnam that really are still not visited by many Western people. So if you want something that feels a little bit more off the beaten path, at least compared to Sapa or Hai Yang, it's not like it's completely forgotten, but it is kind of incredible to me that this is not more visited. At least this is the kind of Vietnam that I was looking for when I first visited this country. Sweeping rice terraces, traditional ethnic minorities walking around, buffaloes and cows grazing. It's just, this is Vietnam.
And in no time, we've gathered enough to feed a small village and head for the kitchen.
That's lunch. I can't imagine before motorbikes, you understand how these languages and these cultures remain so separate and so distinct, because it would have taken days just to get to the bottom of the mountain, that's for sure. These guys are wizards on motorbikes, I'm telling you. Insanity. Not so surprising they have goats up here. Probably the only creature you could easily move about.
Riding once again on tiny roads through just jaw-dropping landscapes and isolated communities, we reach our cooking spot, a rustic roadside shelter, one of many scattered throughout these hillsides.
So we have arrived at the cooking location, which was about a good 30 minutes further up the mountain than when we originally caught the grasshopper. And I think it's because up here, pretty much all of the rice is still quite high. None of it's really been harvested yet. Things here take a lot of time because everything up here is harvested by hand. You couldn't get a Kubota tractor up here if you tried. So I think it's gonna be a while until things get mechanized in these parts. Cute little house up on top of the mountain, and we're gonna check out how exactly these grasshoppers taste.
As rain clouds gather, we hunker down. Pao takes the lead in the cooking preparation, transforming our catch with lime leaves and a touch of seasoning.
So the grasshopper has been cooking for a minute now. They really cook the hell out of these things. So I don't know, maybe it's gonna taste really charred out. Maybe it's kind of poisonous without that. Maybe it needs it. Who knows? But we will find out.
He cooks it for a considerable amount of time, especially considering they're such small creatures. And as we cook, the shelter becomes a rotating stage of curious locals. Some stop by to say hi, others to see what's cooking, and some to wait out the endless rain squalls. The anticipation is building, but finally, the feast. Grasshopper and sticky rice.
It's kind of like grasshopper sushi. So, and Pal, I'm pretty excited to try some of these grasshopper. We spent all morning catching them. I think let's just dive in and try one.
Okay, anh ăn thử.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of these grasshoppers seem to be of the same variety. I was catching just about any grasshopper out there, so maybe don't do that. They all seem to be these sort of browner shaped grasshopper. Let's give it a try. Just ăn hết đúng không?
Dạ, ăn hết và ăn cơm này. Okay.
Oh wow.
Đúng rồi. Yeah.
So that is like a completely different flavor than I was expecting. Fried insects are way easier to eat than live insects, obviously, or even just raw insects. And there's a heap of flavor in here. I mean, that one was almost like spicy. I don't know what this leaf is.
Lá chanh. Lá chanh.
It's incredible just how much flavor is on these grasshoppers. You really don't get any of that insecty flavor at all. You do get that kind of crunch from the shells, but it's not the sort of fingernaily horribleness I'm used to. It's a little bit more of a pleasant crunch. Yeah, let's try one more. That's what I'm tasting coming through. There is a ton of flavor with this. It is not your average grasshopper, that's for sure. And it sort of tastes like spicy chips or fries. This is far more reminiscent, to me at least, of the dishes I'm used to in central Vietnam that have this punchy, fiery, spicy, seasoned flavor. And it is really surprising how good this is. It's just like, it's super easy to eat. Yeah, like it's easy to eat, right? Like,
Okay.
Really, honestly, in terms of like insect rankings, I would put grasshopper way up there right now. And I've eaten a surprising amount of insects. Maybe the WEF were right. We should just be eating insects. These are really good.
Okay.
If you've ever had the small prawns that you eat here in Asia with the shell on, you get a really similar flavor out of this. In that the texture is very much just the shell of the prawn, or in this case, the grasshopper. You're just crunching through. Okay, I'll try a little bit with rice. Một ít thôi hả?
Một ít thôi.
This is how you're supposed to eat it. I was just eating them straight. I've taken this giant grasshopper this time for some reason. And it is still kind of like gory when you look at it. There's like big ass grasshopper in between a chunk of rice. It looks kind of like, you know, kind of gnarly.
Dạ. Có ăn được không?
Oh, come on. Yeah, the rice really helps because there's obviously no flavor on the rice. A lot of the rice around here is kind of like it's a sticky rice, really. It's a short grain sticky rice, and it looks, even visually, very different from the rice that I'm used to seeing in central Vietnam. I think if you were just eating handfuls of these grasshoppers with the amount of flavoring that's on it, you just wouldn't be able to eat that much. It would just overpower your senses after a little while. Again, it would be almost like eating an entire bag of Doritos or something along those lines. But with the rice, it's really helped balancing it out. And I think that that's how you would eat this with volume. Just
the grasshopper for flavor and the rice to help balance it out. If it wasn't for the crunch, the occasional leg that gets stuck in between your teeth, and the visual aspect of this, I bet you anybody could eat this stuff. It's really pretty good. One more with the rice.
Dạ, ok. Anh có muốn thử cái ớt không? Ớt núi.
Ớt núi, like a mountain chili.
Ớt màu trứng.
Okay, so he's giving me this chili. As you said, like, this is a mountain chili. I think this is going to be some insane amount of flavor. Oh, wow. Oh my god, dude.
Okay.
Cay quá.
Cay.
Dude, this little chili packs a serious punch, like instant punch. And there was not much in there at all, just seeds. I'm not one of those chili connoisseurs. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to really articulate well the flavor, but I'm getting that saliva build up, a real heavy, like a little bit of watering in my eyes. Now the throat burning is starting. Oh wow, yeah, that's got kick, and that is why this is seriously spicy. That's why this dish is just really loaded with spice.
Cay thì ăn cơm vào là nước cay. Yeah.
These things are popular, and everyone, the young and the old, all dig in. So, and Pao, how often do you eat this dish?
Con này á, thì một năm chỉ có một lần. Ở gặt lúa thì mới có con này.
That's interesting. So it's just a once a year dish when you harvest. So you guys only get one rice harvest a year up here. In central Vietnam, you get 2 rice harvests. So it's pretty unique here that they only get the one harvest.
Thì khi nào mà có lúa, có mấy cái lúa này,
Right.
thì mình không vào lúa bắt được.
Yep.
Mình chỉ bắt ở ngoài. Món này thì anh nấu thường xuyên.
So it's really common. You just always eat this dish during harvest season. When did tourists start to come here to take photos during harvest season? I see a lot of people from Hanoi coming here to take photos.
Ở Mu Cang Chai của mình thì có khách du lịch đến từ tháng 5, tháng 6 mùa nước đổ và tháng 9, tháng 10 mùa lúa chín. Mà con cà cao này thì chỉ có tháng 9, tháng 10. Còn tháng 5, tháng 6 là không có. Tháng 9, tháng 10 mới có. Từ khi mà khách đến đây chụp ảnh nhiều á thì về nhà hàng và khách sạn mọc lên, rồi người dân ấy thì sẽ có cái nguồn thu nhập.
So would you say that tourism has been a good thing for this area?
Có. Vì khách du lịch đến thì quảng bá về cái hình ảnh của ruộng bậc thang này, rồi con người cho mọi người biết, và mọi người đến nhiều hơn thì thanh niên sẽ có việc làm và không phải đi làm nơi khác.
I don't see too many Western tourists here yet. Is that the case?
Người nước ngoài chưa biết đến Mu Cang Chai nhiều.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Không biết,
interesting.
ai không biết.
So guys, if you're watching this and you're coming to Vietnam, come here. This is freaking magic. And really, there's not too many Western tourists here yet. You really don't bump into any other tourists up in these valleys because there's just so many rice fields to visit. I lost my grasshopper. There he is. How has life changed here for you since when you were a kid till now? What has changed the most?
Thay đổi lớn nhất là mình học được nhiều thứ từ những người đến đây du lịch. Mình đã trưởng thành hơn rất nhiều qua những người khách du lịch và được tiếp cận với những người như anh, những người khách Tây.
Okay, and Pal, thank you very much, man. This was really interesting.
Okay,
This food is actually surprisingly really good. So yeah, if you're gonna get out there and eat some insects, Grasshopper is a pretty good place to start. Okay, thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, cảm ơn anh đến Mu Cang Chai. Yeah. Lần sau lại đến nha.
I will be back. Trust.
Okay.
As I spend time waiting out the rain and chatting with the Hmong community gathered here, I can't help but notice the stark cultural differences that set them apart from most Vietnamese. The language, the fact that many of them don't speak Vietnamese at all, even their mannerisms are distinct. And it's fascinating to observe how deeply ingrained certain cultural practices are. One thing that I've found universally about Hmong women is if you leave them alone for 5 seconds, they're instantly doing embroidery. The go-to pastime, make some clothing for the family. I mean, these girls rocked up, they sat down for 5 minutes and instantly brought out the embroidery kit. That's how it works. Look at that, pretty high tech. Their hands are always blue from working with indigo. My curiosity piqued. I followed Pao to his friend Nin's house to delve into the intricacies of hemp fabric making. Okay guys, today we are here with Nin, and she's a master Hmong weaver, so I'm hoping to get a little bit of an idea as to exactly how this traditional outfit she is wearing is made. Many of the women here, in fact most of the women in the north here, the Hmong women wear traditional dress. Some of it though is mass manufactured, but Nin still makes it in a very, very traditional way. So I want to see exactly how she's breaking down this, I think it's linen, all the way through to how she's dyeing it and then embroidering it. Let's check it out. Nin's expertise unveils the world of hemp fabric making. It all begins by splitting dried hemp stems and separating out the fibrous, stringy exterior from the brittle, woody stem inside.
So the crazy thing about this is it's like a really strong fiber. I was not expecting this at all. This kind of feels like a twig. But again, you can kind of snap it with your hands. So you just kind of bend it over your finger and work your way up. And essentially what we do is we just pull the exterior stringy fiber off it. I don't know if that's good.
No good.
No good?
Yeah.
Power hates it. I don't know what I did. It's not so long. Look, I don't care. This is my first ever strand of linen or hemp. I think it's quite good.
This is a delicate process, and it requires precision to avoid breaking the fibers. The hemp is then pounded in a mortar and pestle to make it more pliable. Once soft and flexible, each individual strand is carefully joined by Qin Yin, who deftly spins the ends, fanning out the fibers and threads it to the next strand.
So all of these pieces of fiber that have been broken down are now hand connected end to end. And it's pretty crazy because some of these balls are huge. So she must have hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of meters sitting in just balls of thread lying around here.
While the mechanics remain a mystery to me, this technique produces a continuous roll of hemp with incredibly strong joints. These threads are then loaded onto a bamboo spool using a hand crank, rapidly spinning the bamboo and allowing the continuous hemp strand to be threaded on. This spool can then be easily added to a shuttle, passing the thread from one side of a loom to the other.
So grandma has some serious chops, but she has a little bit of a reach problem. So thankfully, this loom is adjustable. How smart is that?
The finished hemp rolls can reach lengths of hundreds of meters.
So I asked, what do you do after weaving? And she said, I hang it up on the roadside and sell it to tourists. But I want to see it dyed, which is, in fact, how they would do the final step if they were to make a garment. There's a large tub of indigo in the corner here that I've spotted. She's brought out a brand new, fresh piece of long fabric.
These rolls are dyed using natural indigo, a process familiar to me from my time in Suiyang. In fact, I encounter this process later at nearly every Hmong household that I visit.
And that is why Hmong ladies always have blue fingers. Told ya.
Despite the availability of modern machine-made clothing at a fraction of the cost, homemade garments still remain an integral part of daily life here. And I want to hear why from Qin Yin.
Qin Yin, thank you for showing me around your home. How long have you been weaving like this?
Chị làm từ khi chị 10 tuổi ạ.
Since you were 10. Oh my god. How is business? Are people still buying this kind of fabric a lot?
Có ạ. Chị làm cái này ấy, thì bán vào Mỹ và Pháp. Trước kia thì làm cho người Mông mua và phục vụ cho bản thân, nhưng mà bây giờ chị biết làm bán cho người nước ngoài thì chị cũng bán cho người nước ngoài là nhiều ạ.
Do you like the fact that there's a lot of tourists coming to town now and you can sell these fabrics to them?
Rất là thích ạ, bởi vì người phụ nữ Mông ở trên này ấy, thì cũng không biết đi làm thuê ở đâu ấy, thì chỉ làm cái này kiếm tiền thôi, chị cho dù ít ỏi nhưng mà người phụ nữ đã kiếm được thì cũng rất vui ạ.
Now when I come here I see a lot of Hmong people, they wear a lot of machine-made clothing. How do you feel about that?
Bây giờ thì cũng có nhà máy để sản xuất cho người Mông, nhưng mà người Mông thì trước khi là một người phụ nữ hoặc một người con trai ấy, thì trước khi lấy vợ lấy chồng và trước khi chết thì phải mặc trang phục dân tộc của dân tộc Mông, thì ai cũng phải làm, cũng phải dạy cho lớp trẻ này biết giữ được bản sắc dân tộc của mình ạ.
But do you think less people learn now than when you were a child?
Có ạ, bởi vì cái này thì rất là kỳ công và bán cũng không được giá ấy. Thì lớp trẻ bây giờ thì chỉ muốn đi làm công ty thôi.
Are you worried that the Hmong people will forget how to make the clothing in a traditional way?
Chị cũng sợ là sau này mất dần cái này ấy, thì bây giờ chị đang duy trì là dạy cho lớp trẻ miễn phí và không làm mất cái này ạ.
That's great. I really love that you're teaching these young people so that they don't forget this part of your tradition. It's one of my favorite things about the Hmong people is that they always have a traditional outfit. When I see other ethnic minorities, often they just wear normal clothing and, you know, it's a little bit sad. Okay, thank you very much for showing me around your house, showing me this process. It's really cool to watch, and I really love that you're keeping the culture alive.
The Hmong communities in Mu Cang Chai are what makes this place truly special. Their deep connection with the land has transformed entire mountainsides into some of the most stunningly manicured landscapes you will ever see. If you are here during harvest season, enjoy the views, but make sure not to miss out on trying the grasshopper.
Okay guys, I'm gonna hang out for a little bit longer and do a bit of droning with these guys, but hopefully you enjoyed this episode where we catched and cooked some grasshopper with the Hmong people. This was a pretty damn fun experience for me, so hopefully you enjoyed watching. If you did, please give me a like and a subscribe, it really helps out. I'd love to produce more of this content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.